Factor the trinomial 3 plus 8x squared minus 10, I'm sorry, that's a plus 3 plus 8k squared minus 10k using the area model and a diamond problem. Well, the first thing I notice is that this is not in standard form. So I'm going to rewrite this as a positive 8k squared, and then I'm going to have a minus 10k followed by a positive 3. And when I look at all three of these terms, there is no common factor at all. So I'm good to proceed. So in my generic area model, I'm going to go ahead and write the 8k squared here. And I'm going to write the number 3 here. So I'm looking for two numbers such that when I multiply them, I will get, this diagonal, 3 times 8k squared is 24k squared. And that's the value that's going to go in the top of my diamond problem. So 24k squared. And in order for this area model, the generic area model to work, this diagonal has to equal the same. It has to be 24k squared also. And that's the motivation for what we're doing here, right? I'm going to use this negative 10k. I'm going to break it up in such a way that I have a product of 24k squared, and I have a sum of negative 10k. So that's all I have, the negative 10k. I just need to break it up so that when I multiply, I get the positive 24k. Now, looking at the number 24, 24 is 3 times 8, and 8 has 2 factors, or 3 factors of 2 in it. So I can write this as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, and sometimes I need to separate with the factor of 1 also. So as I look at this, I'm trying to find ways to break this up that I can get negative 10k out of it. Since my product is positive, I know both of these are going to have to be negative. So they're both going to be negative numbers. And I can go with 6 and 4. And you can see there's the 6, and everything that's left over. 1 times 2 times 2 is 4. So 6 and 4 work. So I'm going to have a 6k and a minus 4k. Right? They're both negative. So now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the generic area model the rest of the way. So these two values are going to be, right here we decided I'll write negative 6k, and this is going to be a negative 4k. At this point, we can go ahead and begin pulling out factors. Let me shrink this down just a little bit, move this over. So as I look at the bottom row here, I've got 8k squared and minus 4k. I'm going to pull I'm going to bring 4k out. Let's see if this works. So if I bring 4k out, that's the greatest common factor for those two. That means this top one is going to have to be a 2k. So when I multiply 2k times 4k, that gives me my 8k squared. And if this is 2k, and I need to get a negative 6k, that means this needs to be a negative 3. And if that's a negative 3, and I need to get a positive 3 out of it, this needs to be a negative 1. So as I look at it, I think all 4 of these are working now, right? If I multiply 4k times 2k, I do get 8k squared. If I multiply, those aren't going to go away. If I multiply the 4k times negative 1, you can see that's negative 4k. That works nicely. And if I multiply negative 3 times 2k, that is negative 6k. And the last one there is when I multiply the negative 3k times the negative 1. And negative 3 times negative 1, that does give me the positive 3. So my factored form, right, this is in standard form, but the factored form of this would be 4k minus 3 times the quantity of 2k minus 1. And I have that crazy erasing pen going again. Let me write that again, sorry. I still have the erasing thing going on. Well, you're just going to have to take my word for it, right? I've got the answer there. There it is, 4k minus 3 times the quantity of 2k minus 1. And remember, whenever we multiply out this answer, we should always get back the original polynomial. So if I go ahead and do the multiplication, there's 4 things that will contribute to this product, right? There's going to be the 4k times the 2k. There's going to be the 4k times the negative 1. We'll also have the negative 3 times the 2k. And we'll have the negative 3 times the negative 1. And if I write each of those out, right, so the first product right here, 1, is going to be 8k squared. The next one that I have is going to be 4k times negative 1, which is negative 4k. The third one that we have is this one, and that will produce negative 3 times 2k, which is negative 6k. And the fourth and final product that's going to contribute to this is negative 3 times negative 1, which is plus 3. And if I simplify, we do get 8k squared minus 10k. That's what we get when we combine the negative 4 and the negative 6. Negative 10k, and then plus 3.